spoilers. So yeah, to dive into the Texans a little bit more. To see Deshaun Watson put up 400, what was it, 426 yards? Was it 426 yards or was it 462?
It was 420. Yeah. It was 427 or 472.
No, it was 426, right? 426 yards, 5 touchdowns, and a perfect quarterback rating and a 98.2 QBR. That's fucking amazing. The offense looked really good. Carlos Hyde had a good day, 60 yards and a touchdown. Will Fuller was absolutely ridiculous, and for some reason the Falcons kept leaving him open all day long, and they took advantage of it. And Bill O'Brien called a really, really good offensive game. What did we talk about last week? Is Bill O'Brien, stop getting in your own way. Stop getting in Deshaun's way. Stop getting in your offense's way, and call some fucking plays that's going to help your team out. And we finally saw that. What's up?
I was just going to say, like, you know, with Bill O'Brien, sometimes, like, after wins, maybe just in general, I'll say this, but I caught it this past Sunday. Actually, it was his Monday press conference. He'll say something. You have to kind of, you know, put the pieces together. But he made mention when he was talking about the offense and things like that. And he said, well, look, you know, it comes down to game planning. It comes down to, you know, Deshaun making the right reads, you know, getting the right plays in. But he also said making the right calls at the right time, which points the finger at himself and or Tim Kelly, right? Okay. And I think that was him saying that, you know what, like, and he said this too, like, sometimes it all comes together, and Sunday was one of those days. You know, this is one of the very few times that has actually all come together since going back to, like, 4 games in a row 2 years ago in Deshaun's rookie season when he was putting up historic numbers for a rookie quarterback. And I think that's Bill O'Brien saying, yeah, you know, look, that is on me too. And we haven't heard it's on me since Gary Kubiak's last year and Bill O'Brien's first year here. It's on me. That was his way of saying that. And I hope that's
so not true. Bill O'Brien said that last year. He has said it's on me every single year.
Did he say, like, it's on me, or
yes.
was it like another
way?
I
have a song from 3 years ago that I wrote called "It's on Me," and it was in the tune of or maybe it was 4 years ago, either 3 or 4 years ago. No, it was to Shaggy's. It wasn't me. It was. It's on me.
I remember that now, but I don't know.
He said it last. He said it multiple times last year when I was covering them.
All right, my bad. I'm not one of those guys that, like, usually parses through, like, every press conference. You know what I'm saying? But that struck a chord with me. I was like, you know what? Maybe this is something that he kind of, like, maybe has an epiphany, and he just it finally sunk in, and he got it. You know,
right?
Like, this could be that game, but also too, it's like, man, it was the Falcons, and they suck. The Falcons are so discombobulated, like, as a team. I had to cover the post game, the visiting locker room this past Sunday, and dude, they were coming at us with accountability. They were coming at us with dudes ain't playing hard. They were coming at us with our coach is going to get fired, maybe. Oh my God. It was that kind of a feel. Look, Arthur Blank was in. I've never seen this before in my life, where in a visiting locker room where an owner was in the coach's post-game press conference, just kind of sitting in the very back and chilling, very reserved, quiet to himself. And I was like, man, this is kind of funny. I think that dude's out. I think Quinn's out if they lose to the Cardinals next week. They can go Zen mode in Arizona all week long if they want to, which is what they're doing, getting prepared for that game. But I think he's out. But to get back to the point, I think things just gelled for the Texans. I'm going to chill. I'm going to pump the brakes on, like, hey, this is a turning of a page, and you got to do it 2-3 weeks in a row. You got to show consistency.
Right. The one thing I'll say, like, and that's that overall my takeaway with the Texans win over the Falcons is I love seeing it. I love seeing how well they played. I love seeing the offense cooking. But to be honest, I'm more discouraged by the win than I am encouraged.
Why?
Maybe this is unfair. Maybe my reasoning for this is completely unfair. But all this game did for me is show me how freakishly talented the offensive is, how productive it could be week in and week out, and how inconsistent they are with Bill O'Brien. Like, if they can find some semblance of consistency in their performance and in the play calling, then they could be a force to be reckoned with. They could be a team that we're sitting here talking about. Holy shit, man! You got to be scared of the Texans in the playoffs. Like, they have their faults and they have their weak areas, but if that offense is cooking and everybody's playing well, then they could destroy each and any defense out there in the NFL. But the problem is consistency. Now the Falcons, like, the other issue is the Falcons, they have they're allowing the second most points in the NFL. They're bottom 10 in yards allowed per game. What's weird is
Are you looking at after this game or before?
After this game, they're bottom 10 in yards allowed. They're bottom 10 in total yards allowed. They're not a good defense. They're a real bad defense. Not even just the offensive issues that they're having. It's the defense is just god awful. So yeah, they're one of the 5 worst defenses in the entire NFL. So if you're not putting up 426 passing yards and 5 touchdowns on one of the worst 5 worst defenses in the NFL, then you're going to have problems. My issue is whenever the Texans so far this year, anytime the Texans have faced a team that has a relatively decent defense, the offense looks discombobulated. And the Panthers have a good defense. They have a good defense, and the Texans couldn't score against them. The Jaguars have a very good defense. The Texans fucking squeaked out of that one. Really the only game that I've really truly been encouraged by, and this is going to be weird, the only game that I've really been, or the only 2 games, I forgot about week 1. The only 2 games that I've been encouraged by are the win on the road against the Chargers, 27-20, and then the loss against the Saints. I don't give a shit about a 1-point win against the Jaguars when you looked bad. I don't give a shit about. I care a little bit more about a 53-32 win over a bad Falcons team because you put them in the ground. Like the 53-32, that even seems closer than it actually was. Like you absolutely shit stomped them like the way Alabama does to some FBS team, right? So I'm slightly encouraged by the Falcons, but I'm more discouraged than I am encouraged because it just shows me how inconsistent they are with their talent. But the Chargers win was great. But the problem is that the impact of the Chargers win gets taken away a little bit because they go out in the next week at home and they lose to a Kyle Allen-led Panthers 16-10, and the offense couldn't do a damn thing.
I mean, I get it, but if they go on and win 4 of their next 6 games, then that is one of those wins in a string of 8 games then in which, hey, you go 5-3 in a stretch of 8 games in NFL season, you feel pretty good about that.
Yeah.
See, my biggest problem with the Texans especially, and look, we don't cover any other team. I mean, this is who we watch every Sunday, and this is who we hear from, and, you know, we're so in bed with them. You know, we know those players, we know the coaches, we're used to their tendencies and things like that, you know, if the Texans aren't winning 53-32 and they lose a 23-20 game, they suck.
Yeah.
If they get blasted 53-26 or whatever, and then come back the next week, they're inconsistent. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, that's the NFL because there's only 16 games. It's one week you're at the highest of highs, another week you're at the lowest of lows, and that drives me freaking crazy, dude. It drives me crazy. Like,
I'll say this: championship teams aren't like that every single week. Championship teams see their lows. They definitely see their lows, but they see them far less than what the Texans have seen.
I understand that, but
because the Texans should be
it's week 5.
The Texans should be 2-3 right now. Well, I mean, it's week 5 in a 16-game season, though. Like, we can't just sit there and say like they're 3-2 right now, and so a lot could happen. And that's the thing is, you know, maybe I should add yet. Maybe I should add yet to the end to the end of my Texans take. It's I'm discouraged by this, and I'm not encouraged by this win and by this offensive performance yet. maybe I will be, maybe
Yeah.
if they show that they can at least be somewhat consistent. I'm not
Okay.
saying go out there and score 53 points every week. I'm not saying Deshaun has to be perfect every single week, but I don't want you to go out there and as you put it earlier with the Texans press box, I don't want you to go out there and be an egg fart of an offense, or is that what you said? Egg fart?
Popcorn fart.
Popcorn fart. Shit. I don't want you to be a popcorn fart of an offense.
Both are horrible.
And take 3 quarters or 3.5 quarters to score a fucking point. I want you to go out there and I want to see the ball move a little bit in the first quarter, in the second quarter. I want to see some consistent movement and some consistent efficiency from the offense and some good play calling. You show me that, I'll be way more encouraged by performances like this.
You're looking for consistency like everybody else is.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
Yep.
Every single season, though, a team that is a playoff hopeful, right, that you have high expectations for, usually has a game or 2 or 3, depending on your division or conference, on the schedule that you're going to use it as a barometer of sorts, right? And I think, last year, because anytime you have the New England Patriots on your roster, that's generally a pretty good barometer of like what your team should be capable of, what kind of season you could have. For the Texans last year, they played the Patriots week 1.
Yeah.
Right? So to call that game a barometer and make that to kind of, have any solidified definition of what this team was going to be last year, it was wrong. They were 11-5. Argue with the stat all you want to. They were an 11-5. I don't think they were a very good 11-5 team. But so take week 1's barometer game to the Patriots away last year. What about that Eagles game?
Yeah.
Towards the end of the season. I think that was probably the barometer. I mean, that was closing time. You could have really entrenched yourself into a situation that would have set you up for home field advantage. I think it was either home field advantage or it was like a bye week on the line. I can't remember in that Eagles game. Do you remember? But
I don't.
The Texans squandered that opportunity late. They lost that game 32-30. Yeah, they had a home playoff game against the Indianapolis Colts that they freaking looked like dog crap in. And for the second straight home playoff game, by the way, the other one was a 30 to whatever, maybe was it 30-0, lost to the Chiefs, 30-10, 30-3, whatever it was. You remember that one?
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
And so, what's the barometer game this year? I think it comes at the perfect time. I think it's week 6, Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City.
This game.
It's Sunday.
Yeah.
This and look, here you go. This is a Chiefs team that has lost 2 straight games. The last time they lost 3 straight, they had actually lost 4 straight during that time, which was 2 seasons ago. And that was still a really good Kansas City Chief football team. They rebounded. They had a really bad stretch of games mid to late part of that season. They ended up winning like 3 of their last 4 games that year and maybe finished 10-6 or something like that, 11-5, whatever it was. Really good football team. What's Sunday going to mean for both of these teams?
Right.
If the Chiefs lose, and they lose 3 straight with, the passing of the torch guy and Patrick Mahomes really continuing to struggle, especially against the Texans pass rush on the road, and let's say the Texans lose this game, what does that say to them? There you go, same old Texans, the 8-8, freaking Houston Texans. It's an 8-8 league. That's the definition. That's the team you're going to see if you look it up into the football dictionary. It's going to drive you crazy. What you want to see is the epitome of a pretty loss. If even such a thing exists, at worst case scenario, to make you feel good about this team moving forward, coming off the 53 to whatever it was victory over the Falcons.
If I see a loss like week 1 against the Saints, then I'll feel okay with that. Like, that's the thing is people, and I can't remember who I think I talked about this with Clanton. I had him on, but I talked about this before where it's not as black and white as you should never want a good loss and you should always want a bad win. It's like life is never that black and white. It's a sliding scale of things. Like
Yeah.
I can like you. If you ask me, do you want a loss or a win? Of course, I'm gonna choose the fucking win every single time. But if you're telling me what makes me feel better about the team moving forward, not which one I want, because obviously I want the win. And anybody who asks you, which would you rather have, a win or a loss, like they're an asshole. Like that person is the pure definition of a sports asshole that's creating shitty arguments. But what the argument should be is which one makes you feel better about the team? Which one makes you feel better about what they can do moving forward? Then the answer is going to be a good win, or a good loss. Obviously, a good win makes you feel better, but a good loss is going to make you feel better. I felt much better about the 30-28 loss to a Drew Brees led Saints team than I did about a 13-12 win over the Jaguars when Doug Marrone just fucked it up and the Texans probably should have lost that game anyway. I felt much better about week 1 than I did about week 2. And so I'm going to feel a hell of a lot better. Like say it's let's just throw numbers out there. 28-27. Kansas City Chiefs. It's a quarterback duel. Shaun slinging it. Patrick Mahomes is slinging it. They're going back. They're going back and forth. The defense gets some sacks. Both defenses get turnovers, and it's just a battle. And then it's just about who has the ball at the end. And the Kansas City Chiefs kick a field goal as time runs out to win the game, and that's how it lays out. Dude, I'm gonna feel so much better about that loss than I will have about a win over the Jaguars, or even this last win over the Falcons, because that's a Super Bowl contending team that you lost.
You're right. You don't want it to happen, but you'd feel really good about it too, especially if it came down to the referees, botching a call.
Oh, Jesus
your
Christ!
team. You know what
I'm
I mean?
gonna murder a ref this year. I shouldn't say that. I'm gonna fantasize about murdering refs. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, you'll look. When you have a really good team on your hands too, when the fan base and the media, like in us, can stop talking about the quality of a win based on this, that, and the other kind of scenario, like where it's, dude, this is a really good team. They need to win. They should win. They're a better team than they are.
Yeah.
You can't say that definitively about the Houston Texans, and certainly look the Kansas City Chiefs as a bad example because they were one of the best teams in the AFC South, the AFC last year. So you can't say that. It's not fair. It's stupid. But that's the case when you have a real good team on your hands where you're like, hey, you like your chances against whomever, and you feel really good about it. And a loss is unacceptable. A win, absolutely, that's the way it should be. And the Texans haven't reached that point yet, and it starts with a really good showing in Kansas City this week, and they need to put together a stretch. I mean, we need to start talking about football like we talk about the Astros. They need to put together a really good stretch of some good games, where the defense, I'm not looking for freaking 5 sacks combined by Watt, Reeder, and Merciless every single week, but, look, a consistent pass rush, looking like a complete team. I don't have to break it down for everybody. You know what I'm talking about. You know what you want to be watching on Sundays. That's what you need to see. And I think Sunday, it's a good opportunity. I don't know if Tyreek Hill is going to play or not for the Chiefs. I heard something earlier today that he might not, and Vegas maybe knows he might not play, which explains the 5.5 point spread to this point. But I also think the fact the Texans put up 53 freaking points has a lot to do with that as well.
You know what'll make me harder than a pile of wood is if they go in these back-to-back road games and they put together that a mini stretch and beat the Chiefs and the Colts, because since before the season started and Andrew Luck retires, I immediately said I'm very interested to see Jacoby Brissett and Frank Reich's system. I'm really interested to see what Jacoby Brissett can do, and for the most part, he's been pretty damn good for the Colts as their starting quarterback. There's a reason why they gave him. They kind of had to give him an extension, but there's a reason why they gave him an extension. Jacoby Brissett is a really underrated quarterback. Probably.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say he's the most underrated because for some reason Russell Westbrook's just every single year is underrated as a quarterback, and he's absolutely phenomenal. But after Russell Wilson, Jacoby Brissett might be the second most underrated quarterback in the entire NFL. He is really, really good, and Frank Reich is a really good offensive mind. And if the Texans can go beat the Chiefs at
Mm-hmm.
Arrowhead and then go to Indianapolis and beat Jacoby Brissett and the Colts there, a division rival, I will be rock hard. I won't be able to stand up off the couch. My wife's going to be like, please go do the dishes. I'll be like, you're going to need to give me a minute. I'm going to keep this laptop on my crotch for just a few minutes.
Hey,
what's up?
Are we professional here?
Yeah, no, we're absolutely not professional. You
All
go
right.
do what you got to do, bro. Let's keep
No,
talking.
I'm taking you with me because my phone's about to run out of charge. I need to grab the
Oh
charger.
my God! You didn't charge your phone? Look, there was no way you could expect that we were going to do 35 minutes on Astros where they could only hear me give my Astros opinions, and God knows what people heard when they were watching. Like, we had a pretty decent amount of people watching when there was no audio from you, and they were just watching me sitting here making noises with my mouth and drinking things. I was drinking a protein shake while you were talking, and people couldn't hear you talking. That sucks. So okay, you know what? Let's do this real fast because we've been going for a while and your phone's about to die. Oh, look, we're back. Yay. Let's do this real fast because I'm going to have to like edit these videos. What's going on, Cool Man City? Cool Man City says hello to both of us. Eric Villa says Watson is always in games. Yeah, true. Deshaun's always going to keep us in games. He also says if we lose like that, Colts fan is going to be hella shit. Yeah, absolutely. He also says he still has the Astros winning it all. So let's talk about the Astros again. Let's try to dive back into like a mini talk about what we talked about with the Astros before, since I was a moron, and because I don't know, I guess maybe the new internet changed the setting. It changes the settings on all my shit. We'll save. Maybe we can have like a special episode this weekend, or like record a special episode that we can post up, and maybe not do it live. But I do want to talk about Daryl Morey upsetting the country of China, and Matt Hammond's terrible tweet. Matt Hammond's terrible, no good, very bad tweet. That's what I want.
Are you going off of like my opinion and what I shared with you in our doc, or did you actually see it yourself?
I saw it myself, and I'm going off of actually knowing the situation in Hong Kong and following along with that politically, and just interesting. I mean, like, my background, what I did in the military. It was all like anything that has to do with geopolitical relations in the Middle East or in the East Asian countries, I'm very interested in. I keep tabs on it all the time. And knowing the situation the way I do in Hong Kong, and then to see Matt Hammond say, his tweet was nothing. Like, it's not nothing. Like, totally agree with Daryl Morey, by the way, without diving into it like fully. But also, I'm not going to be mad at Tillman Fertitta for criticizing the tweet, and I don't think it was an overreaction. It's a really serious situation going on. And financially, it's you know what, I said I wasn't going to dive into it. We'll do like a special MK episode, because with the Astros schedule, it's really, really weird. So maybe we can do something like on Friday or Saturday and do like a special episode. But let's dive back into the Astros since shit was fucked up and nobody could hear you give. Like, honestly, my Astros takes are good, but like, you're the baseball guy. And like, we're both football guys. I'm the basketball guy. You're the baseball guy. So people need to hear your Astros opinions. But I'm gonna start this by saying, let's just dive right into Justin Verlander starting Game 4. I'm still torn on the Verlander decision. On one hand, Verlander had the track record of struggling on short rest, but none of us had any confidence in a 4-starter going into the series. And obviously, neither did AJ Hinch, and he said as much. Like in the press conference, he said as much. So I get why, and after hearing him explain it, I understand. But to me, the implication of starting Justin Verlander in Game 4 because Hinch has no confidence in that moment in Urquidy, to me, that terrifies me moving forward. To me, that's the scarier part moving forward into the ALCS, into the World Series, because it shows, like, what are you going to do whenever you get into that Game 4 and you need that guy to be that starter against the Yankees, against the Dodgers, or whoever it's going to be. Well, that's what scares me the most. And also, I just want to say, I was right about Justin Verlander in Game 1. So bow to me, Shaun. You may bow to me now. It's fine. You're not bowing to me, Shaun. Bow to me, Shaun. Thank you. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
I think Verlander starting Game 4 was the best decision.
Okay. Explain.
And I'm not gonna lie and say I didn't waver on that.
While you talk about this thing I don't feel good about, I'm just gonna drink this whiskey for no
You're
reason at
good.
all. Definitely not
You're
because
good,
the
but
Astros stress me out.
Try to pay attention to kind of my logic here, because I'm talking through this just like everybody else is still kind of going through all of these things in their mind too. Wow, that didn't look very good at all. Power through, baby.
Putting hair on my chest. Oh shit.
Power through.
Woodford Reserve is smooth. Continue.
Yeah. Oh, it looked real smooth.
Very smooth. Yeah.
I'll just say that Verlander was going to be doing something uncharacteristic, not done by him before, and uncomfortable regardless. Mm-hmm. If you would have had Justin Verlander just simply available to come out of the bullpen for Game 4, when's the last time he came out of the bullpen on short rest?
Right.
Ever. Okay. If you would have started Jose Urquidy in that situation, yeah, you don't feel good about a guy making his 10th ever major league appearance, and his maybe 5th start. I think it was. I don't even know. You don't feel good about it.
It was his 10th start.
Was it his 10th start or 10th appearance?
Well, maybe 10th appearance. I feel like it was his 10th start, though. I'm not
it could be. Either way, you didn't feel good about it. A.J. Hinch didn't feel great about it. He admitted as much after the fact.
Right.
So I understand the logic.
Totally makes sense. We talked about that last week.
It does.
Yeah.
It makes sense, but if hindsight's 20/20 and we're looking back on Game 4, they both pitched in that situation, both uncomfortable, both new to them, and those are the situations that A.J. Hinch and the Astros already played through their minds 1,000 times before Hinch even made that decision, and probably even before Justin Verlander came to him in Game 3 and said, "Give me the ball."
Yeah. Oh, by the way, it was his. You're right. It was his 10th appearance, but it would have been his 8th start.
8th start. Okay. Yeah. Either way, he's come out of the bullpen before during the regular season. I don't know the leverage situation of the game, but it would have been new to either one of them. I wavered on it because I thought, you know what? If Urquidy comes out and starts and struggles, maybe even worse than Verlander, maybe he has a horrible first inning and he leaves the bases loaded after surrendering a 3-run homer or something like that, and maybe walks a couple. Mm-hmm. Bring Verlander in. That gives him, a little extra time to prepare. Does he need? No, that's not a factor. But it's Justin Verlander, and that's the best reason I can give you. It's uncomfortable. He's not done it before. It's not a part of his routine. Just like starting on 3 days rest is not a part of his routine. You are just simply saying, this is baseball. Yeah. I've got one of the best pitchers in the world on the planet right now, and I'm going to roll with my guy.
You know what Hinch did? This is the baseball equivalent of him saying, "Fuck it, we'll do it live." That's what this was.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I'm a genius. Thank you.
And here you go. Game 5, Thursday night, Minute Park, Garrett Cole on the mound. Mm-hmm. You have to concentrate just on Game 5. A great manager is already playing through scenarios in Games 1, 2, and 3 of the ALCS. Yep. And you have to do that. What does this do to the Astros rotation, assuming they get past the Rays in Game 5? Who's your Game 1, 2, and 3 starters at this point? Because Justin Verlander will not be making that start on full rest.
Right. Yeah, man.
Do you want?
Does that mean Greinke? Yes. Does that mean Greinke's your Game 1 starter? Ugh.
Well, let me ask you a question.
That's gross.
Why do you feel terrible about Zach Greinke, a guy who's clearly got, and I don't know that admittedly is the right word because I don't remember him ever talking about it, but we just know this. He's got social anxiety issues. He's uncomfortable in front of people. He's uncomfortable in front of media. He doesn't like talking to anybody. Crowds make him nervous. But
what a fucking profession he chose.
Where does he pitch pretty well? Where does he pitch really well? Where has he been accepted? Where is his current home? At Minute Maid Park. This is a place that he's pitched well. He hasn't been Verlander-esque. He hasn't been Cole-esque, but he's been quite simply Zach Greinke.
He hasn't been bad.
Right, yeah. 8-1 in a .06 ERA in the regular season after the Astros acquired him. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And I don't feel terrible about Zach Greinke starting game 1 of the ALCS, game 1 of the World Series, game 1 of the ALDS. I don't feel bad about him starting either one of those games in either one of those scenarios. I like the fact that you could do that and have a Verlander and Cole in a game 2 and a 3, and Cole potentially starting game 3 on the road in a hostile environment at Yankee Stadium, and then coming back, if need be, with Justin Verlander on short rest in a pivotal potential game 5. Something like that. There's the scenario, and that's just one of dozens that A.J. Hinch is probably plowing through at this point.
Yeah, to me, tomorrow, it's a no-brainer that they win game 5. I just don't see a scenario where unless the bats just don't show up, but I don't see a scenario where Garrett Cole allows the Rays to win that game. Like this, to me,
all on him.
It's not all on him at all. It's definitely not all on him. I don't see a position. I don't see a scenario where Garrett Cole doesn't put them in the best position to beat the Rays, because he's going to come out and steal people's souls. But those bats have got there's a little bit more. Everything's been so close. It's literally. I know we call football the game of inches, but for the Astros, last game was literally a game of inches. You were an inch away from Altuve being safe. You were an inch away from Brantley hitting a home run when they needed a home run. You're an inch away from that ball getting over a G-Man Choi's glove and that going into the outfield, and now you have 2 guys on, and it's not a double play. It's literally inches in game 4. They need to get those inches. No matter, I don't care what it takes. I don't care if it's just luck. I don't care if it was great plays and great throws by the Rays. They need to win the inches game. They need to get the luck. They need to make the great throws, and they need to do whatever they can whenever they're at the plate to get these hits, because they have to win game 5, or else it's the biggest disappointment in Astros history.
This may mean something, it may mean nothing, but I think it means something if you buy into the fact that going into game 4, I think it was, or maybe even game 3, the Astros were 9-19 at Tropicana Field. They didn't play well there. They don't hit well there. Garrett Cole.
It's terrible. 9-19.
Garrett Cole 6 times this season in what could be a Cy Young Award-winning season. 6 times had given up 4 or more runs in a game. Not earned runs, but had been charged with 4 or more runs in a game. Mm-hmm. Twice came at the hands of the Tampa Bay Rays.
Stop giving you keep giving all these stats that are stressing me out, man.
I'm just telling you.
You keep giving me all these stats like the Rays they destroy the Astros, and the Rays they have a history of killing the Astros, and then they kill Garrett Cole, and then they have a history of taking down top seeded teams. And you need to stop with all this, because I'm literally going to shit a brick. And I'm talking my body is going to produce protein in such a way that it'll formulate a solidified brick in much in the same vein as as the calcified protein that comes out. What is that thing whenever you have a...
What are you saying right now?
What's the thing that you have to piss out that hurts really, really bad? When a guy has something in his bladder... gallbladder, his gallstone,
gallstone.
Yeah, but
I don't know why I wanted to say a goiter,
but not a goiter. My body is going to produce a calcified, protein-laden block of shit that I'm going to shit out in the form of a brick because of all these stats that you're giving me now.
Hey, I just gave you one stat, and that's fact. Can I give you another stat that's going to make you feel pretty good?
You've given me 4 sad stats. Give me a stat that I need one. The ratio's still going to be 1-4, but at least give me one good stat.
Let me give you one stat.
Okay. Fucking, I'm about to drink more of this Woodford
The first
Reserve.
game, leave off. Where did I leave off?
You left off on, so you gave me all the sad stats, and then you said, let me give you one, and you said, here it go. And that's tremendous. Where you cut off. Yeah. Okay, all right. So make me feel better.
All right, so the first start Garrett Cole had against the Tampa Bay Rays was game 2. He gave up 4, but was charged with 1 earned run. Astros lost that game 4-2. The bats weren't good that day.
Yeah.
The last time that Garrett Cole gave up 4 runs was the last start that he made against the Tampa Bay Rays, which was 6 starts ago.
How is this
excluding
a good stat?
Because the Astros won that game 8-6. 8-6. My point is, the underlying point, what we're not talking enough about is the bats coming alive. We're spending all this time talking about pitching and Garrett Cole putting him in position and things like that. Garrett Cole is subject to some poor starts. Garrett Cole is subject to getting hit around a little bit. While at the same time, Garrett Cole, has taken a win and taken a loss in 2 games at different times this season against the Tampa Bay Rays. He still struck out 14 guys and struck out 10 guys in those games. So Garrett Cole could go out and mow people down left and right tomorrow. But if the Astros don't score any damn runs for him, it doesn't matter. It absolutely doesn't matter. Tomorrow, ideal, you tell me if I'm wrong, needs to go Garrett Cole, Will Harris, Presley, Osuna. And the Astros need to put up about 6-7 runs for them to feel really good about high leverage situations in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings for those guys in Harris, Presley, and Osuna on the mound in hold and in save situations. And the way that the Astros do that, with Glass now starting the game tomorrow as it currently stands, they need to be patient. They need to be patient at the plate. And I'll even set this up for you to get back to pitching and to kind of make my point and bring it around full circle. Justin Verlander, I don't know if anybody talked about this or noticed, dude got squeezed yesterday. I don't care what you say. Dude got squeezed in the first 2 innings. There were 5 different hitters in which the umpire did not call the high fastball or the low fastball low and away to a right-handed hitter. He got squeezed. Those balls were strikes. That changes. I'm not saying that's that was the thing, but that changes the philosophy, the strategy rather, for Verlander on how to attack that hitter and those hitters going forward. And by that same token, the Astros were not patient enough in forcing those calls at the plate. They swung. When's the last time you saw Robinson Chirino swinging a ball up and around his shoulders when he very well knows he hits 106 at the top of the zone on high fastballs?
Yeah.
When's the last time you saw Yordan Alvarez look so undisciplined?
How do you know that off the top of your head? What are you? Did you just drop a Robinson Chirino, so 106, in the top of the zone stat on us?
I looked at the numbers yesterday.
Jesus, all right? Shaun. What are you doing?
I don't know this off the top of my head.
Dude, play games on your phone while you're taking a shit like normal people. Damn it. Instead of looking up Robinson Chirino's zone stats.
I'll give you this one. Yordan Alvarez. What inning was it where he left 2 guys on with 1 out? And the Astros had the opportunity to tie a game there, and he barely missed that high fastball. Foul tipped it, went straight back to the backstop.
I know. It's so infuriating.
The pitch before that, he swung up one and around his eyebrows.
Yeah.
When's the last time you've seen Yordan Alvarez be that undisciplined at the plate? And then he strikes out on that ball in the dirt.
On the lowest ball in the
That was as clueless as you'll see Yordan Alvarez. Alex Bregman struck out on 3 pitches earlier in that game yesterday, and that's uncharacteristic. When AJ Hinch says he trusts 2 guys and names them by name, and Michael Brantley and Alex Bregman, when they say it's a ball, they're right. And period, end of story. And those guys were swinging at some bad pitches over the last couple of games. They got to get right. They got to get their minds right. They got to get their eyes right. And then we can have ourselves a ball game and a champagne celebration tomorrow if that happens, because the bats are going to explode if they're seeing and being choosy and patient.
I just want to point out that Yordan Alvarez at-bat that you were talking about is the one where you tweeted and jinxed him. That was the at-bat where there were 2 guys on base and you tweeted and jinxed it. So the reason he swung at the high one and missed that high fastball, which is one that he hits out of the park every single. That was so infuriating to see him foul tip that, because those are the types of pitches he hits out of the park almost every single time.
If nothing else, maybe that one's the double to the gap that 2 bounces instead of 1 bounces, and maybe you can get the runner from first to score, and you have a ball game with Alvarez standing on second, and Yuli's got a good opportunity to drive it in there, which, hey, more bad luck. Yuli had a good at-bat. He hit a hard ground ball right up the middle into the shift.
And there's nothing you can do about that. There's nothing. There's nothing you can do about that. I mean, there are some things you could do about that, but not a lot. All right, we're gonna go ahead and end this. Very disappointed in Shaun that people couldn't hear him. It's his fault. I take no blame for the microphone for the muting that had happened. It's all Shaun's fault. Shaun, you got to be better. It's on you. I'm not going to Bill O'Brien this. I'm not going to say it's on me. This is on you. We still had a good show. Still had fun. We got back into the Astros stuff. Astros are going to destroy tomorrow. I can't wait to see Garrett Cole come out. Those bats are going to be on fire. I'm calling 6-2. No, it's 6-1. I called 6-1 earlier, so let me.
I said 5-3. 5-3.
Yeah, I'll be happy with either of those because the Astros win. We'll do like a special episode maybe on Friday or Saturday that we can just release on YouTube and stuff like that. So we could just put it out, even if we don't do it live and we just record. And maybe then I could check and make sure that, I don't know, I'm making sure all the microphones are fucking working. Awesome. That's great. I appreciate you guys for watching, everybody. I'm Josh Beard. You can find me at Josh Beard Radio on Twitter. You can find me at Josh Beard Radio on Facebook. And on YouTube, you can find The Wasted Talent with Josh Beard and Shaun Bajani on YouTube at youtube.com/Josh Beard, I believe is what it is. But he's Shaun Bajani at Shaun Bajani on Twitter. You can find him at Shaun Bajani on Instagram as well. And he'll be at the game tomorrow. Sadly, I won't be. I'll have to be watching from my house. But maybe you can text me tomorrow. While you're at the Astros game, you can text me since nobody else will let you cheer. We'll cheer together through text messages. But we appreciate you guys listening to us. We're going to continue to work the schedule around at the Astros playoffs. I pray to God that we get the chance to still continue working around that, depending on what their schedule is going to look like. So normally it would be a Tuesdays and Thursday nights at 9, but if we have to change that, we have to change that based off of if the Astros are playing on a Tuesday night, if we have to do it on Wednesday, if we have to do it on a Monday, whatever we have to do, we'll make it work. But until baseball is over, it's going to be kind of a weird schedule, so you guys bear with us. But after that, it'll be back to Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 o'clock. We appreciate you guys watching. We love you. And watching and listening, by the way, because we're officially on iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify. So we'll have what is that? What are you doing the 4 for?
Doing the Bregman, baby.
Oh, shit. So we're on iTunes, Google Play. Wasted Talent with Josh Beard and Shaun Bajani on iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify. So check us out on there. If you